Hi, the TAKful Creator here. Okay, we're going to get started. May God the Creator bless us. May God the Redeemer heal us. May God the Holy Spirit enlighten us. Give us eyes to see, ears to hear, and hands to do the work of God. Feet to walk the path of justice, and mouths to preach the good news. May the angel of peace, prosperity, love, abundance, guidance, grace, mercy, care, and peace watch over us and lead us to the reign of God. Okay, so whatever is going on with Pisces, I had some kind of like forewarning message that you were kind of like caught in the act, right? And you were caught in the act, and because you were, you need some kind of like personal protection, right? That's what this maple syrup type vibe is. Okay, so think of the viscosity of maple syrup. It's very thick, it's very sweet, but it's kind of dense, right? So like when maple syrup is kind of like pouring, it's faster than honey, but it's kind of slow, right? It's not as slow as molasses, but you know, it's a pretty slow process. Okay, now just like honey, it has a lot of added benefits. It has a lot of nutrients that are necessary, like minerals and I wouldn't say vitamins, but I guess like minerals and like other sustenance that your body needs in order for it to have fluidity, right? But this fluidity is supposed to carry things with it, right? That's why it's so thick. It's supposed to carry the nutrients with it, whereas water, if it doesn't have the electrolytes and the minerals being pumped in it, it's not really carrying anything but its contents, right? It's a H2O. It's hydrogen and oxygen atoms, right? And of course, other people will tell me, yeah, there's bacteria. Yeah, we're not talking about that. Those are like single cell or like multi-cell. You know, we're getting into science, and that's not really the point here, even though spirituality and science are very much connected, right? So Pisces, you're kind of like in a sticky situation, but a sticky situation that is necessary for your growth, right? You're meant to kind of get through it with the items that are attached to you in this process. Now, you could also be called to, you know, eat maple syrup. Maybe, you know, it's the morning now, so maybe you're having pancakes, or, you know, you're getting brunch or something like that that requires, you know, maple syrup or something. That's just a connection with you. But there's some kind of maybe, okay, well, if you're getting ready for a brunch, you know, you're doing your hair, you're refining it, you're taking it from a thick state to a fine state, or you're, you know, taking it from a fine state to a thick state. Now, what does that mean? Well, if you have very thick hair, you could be blowing it out and then straightening it, or you could be, with very straight hair, curling it up, right? So that's what we mean by this. If we aren't speaking physically and we're speaking more symbolically, then we are talking more about your personal power, right? You're refining it. So where you would only speak up in certain case scenarios, you're being taught and you're being navigated to kind of speak up with a little bit more power, speak up with a little bit more knowledge or more depth, with more credibility, kind of speak up with more of a leadership role, right? That's when you're thickening your hair and kind of doing it in a way that's not as polished, right? You're a little bit more aggressive in your approach. I wouldn't say domineering, but I would say dominating, right? In your approach, which is necessary, right, in order for you to receive the respect. Okay, so we have some kind of disconnected vibe, right? And so people are moving very gray. What is that? Well, people are not seeing the black and white in a situation. They're not seeing the good here, the bad here, so we know exactly which way to choose. You're kind of seeing like, there's not really one easy road to go down. So because of that, you're kind of disconnecting, right? You're detaching emotionally, detaching physically, or this could mean like you're hanging up a phone call or something like that. If we're speaking physically, on if you were listening to this video on the job, or, you know, working from home and so forth. Okay, so the signature forge came out in the previous reading, and I'll attach that to this part of the reading or the end. But there was a signature forged on your behalf, Pisces, quote unquote, or so it seemed, right? Because we have this or not in the background. What does this really mean to us? Well, someone probably said they forged your signature on something, or they said that or they were speaking on behalf of you, right? They forged your energetic signature, saying that this came from you, this was about you, or something like that, but in actuality, it wasn't. Okay, so that could be what's causing the sticky situation. Maybe you're under the impression that someone forged your signature, but in actuality, they didn't, because maybe, you know, the legality of it kind of pushed the person away. Okay, so this could be with your best or favorite friend. And we need the name deck. So I just love how the cards just do that, right? So I was called before the reading to bring out our name cards. And I haven't used these in like months. So, and then here we go with the name deck falling out. Okay, so Pisces, who is your best or favorite friend? Or if you're listening to this reading and you don't identify with being a Pisces or having it in your chart in any regard, what Pisces is your best or favorite friend? Okay. Oh. We have a Lakeisha. We have a Sam. Shake. Okay, I'm gonna be a little bit more scarce with the names because there's just so many. All right, so we have a few different aspects of our pile here. So we're going to ask our pendulum. Hi, Divine. Can you show me no? Can you show me yes? That we're on the right track? And maybe we need to double back, baby, double back. All right. Okay, so just confirming the divine is here. Do we have any other energies present? Any ancestors or guides? No, this is a direct message from the divine, right? Specifically for our Pisces, our astrological start. Okay, so we have multiple piles here. We have our name deck. So this would be the best or favorite friend to the Pisces. Okay, this would be the Pisces energy, and this will be other people kind of like around the Pisces, right? All right, so we have some kind of Laura. Is Laura a love interest to the Pisces? No, Laura is a Pisces. Okay, so we have a Pisces named Laura. Giselle, Tammy. Okay, so what I'm already gauging by this, so for Laura, you are a little bit older, right? You are more seasoned, I would say, and that could be like 20s, 30s, and 40s. Why? Because the Giselle is in reverse. I'm gauging more of an innocent energy, so this is like children, right? And although children are not necessarily watching the readings, if you are a parent to a child, you know, this could very well, you know, prepare you for what's going on, right? Okay, so we'll have Laura be like the middle pile, right? Giselle be the younger pile, and then Tammy be the oldest pile, right? We can tell just by the placement. Okay, so Lakeisha is in the older pile, so you can kind of know like age range. Again, just to repeat, we'll have like youth, adolescence here, young adult here, and then we have like middle-aged adult plus. Okay, we have a Danielle and Alicia. Is Alicia supposed to be? No, Alicia. Okay, no, Alicia's a child. Okay. Shannon. Ooh. Sheesh. Shiva. Darman. Oh, but remember this side is the best friends. So these would be the last two. Belle or Bella. And Joe. Okay, and then we have down here forge a signature. So there might be a Pisces who said they forged a signature or did forge a signature, and this person is named Khan, right? But they're a child. Okay, so maybe that's why this forged signature is not really too big of a deal, because you know it's probably a kid signing his parents' signature. So maybe Khan and Shiva, there's a bit of an issue there with the forged signature. Okay, you might need to refine your power and be his, give him some cultural rearing, you know, maybe a little smack, you know, and I do not condone physical violence. However, the universe doesn't really care, right, about physical violence, and if it needs to teach you a lesson, it would teach you based on physical pain. That's the whole reason why we have a nervous system. So if the universe is going to teach you to be a little bit more cautious where you run, right, by having you trip and skin your knee, then I think you as a parent can teach your child not to forge your signature, because that could be a lot of, like a huge problem, a lot more of a problem than what it seems like in the future, by just giving a little smack, you know, not anything too aggressive. Of course, you know, everyone has their own beliefs, but hey, you know, let me know your how you feel in the comments. But back to the reading, right? So we have this Pisces who is kind of like stuck to the situation. Now, this person is best or favorite friend, and if we're going by the same, you know, setup that's over here, there's a Willie that is, you know, a young adult age, a Darwin that is young adult age, a Joy that is a bit more seasoned, a Sam that is a bit more juvenile, a Chuck that's a bit more juvenile, an Ox that's a bit more juvenile. Let me just double check, is this a Zoe or an Ox? Is it an Ox? Okay, no, it's a Zoe. And the Zoe's not juvenile, it's actually he or she is actually young adult age, right, or cusping that middle adult age. Then we have Shanika, who is also cusping that that age range with Darwin, Willie, and Zoe. And then we have Jacob, that is younger, a bit more youthful. Okay, so just double backing, right? This is the Pisces. No, this is the friend to the Pisces, the best or favorite friend to the Pisces, and this is the Pisces that's over here. Okay, so of course we're going to recap, right? If your name is, or you know of your child or someone that's young whose name is Khan, Belle or Bella, Alicia or Giselle, someone who is youthful, young adult that's named Joe or Laura, a more seasoned adult that is a little bit older in age named Tammy, Lakeisha, Danielle, Shannon, or Shiva, just know that, you know, you have to refine your power. Okay, you kind of have to be a little bit more aggressive with how you're getting things done. Okay, and then we have this Pisces over here or this Pisces energy over here that is kind of sucking up, like maple syrup is kind of sweetening, of course, but it's kind of sticking to these other energies. The more juvenile of the energies, the youthful energies would be Jacob, Sam, and Chuck. So by saying juvenile, I'm not getting anything below 14. It's like 14 to about 21 here. And then you have 21 plus would be Shanika, Darwin, Willie, and Zoe. And then for, I would say maybe 40, 45 plus, you'll have Joy. Okay? So let's see what other information we need to know about. There's some kind of verbal abuse. So maybe that's what the thickening of the power is all about, or straightening of the power is all about. Some kind of prosthesis with a tarot reader, intuition, manifestation. There's a level up. Cancer vibes. And I'm getting Cancer vibes on an actual Cancer in this scenario. We're getting some kind of klepto. Someone stealing energy, stealing information, you know, stealing an opportunity with signing this signature, but it's all to accrue adult healing, right? So even these younger energies here, they're symbolic, okay? They're only there, they're only present, like the maple syrup, you know, they're stuck to the situation so that you're able to learn and level up, right? Because you're manifesting your reality and don't realize, in order for you to receive the benefits of your labor, right, the fruits of your investments, you have to release what doesn't serve you,
So the universe is seeing if you've released that baggage in the best way, right? So this might end up in a quarrel fight. This fight might offer an energy or multiple energy, some kind of the physical abuse, because we have verbal abuse that's over here, right? And the night school deck, but I'm not really getting like we need to bring out those set of cards. I'm getting more so that something's going to happen at night. Some kind of verbal abuse is going to kind of skyrocket. It's going to be a little bit too much. It's going to kind of bubble over or boil over in a way that might be a bit more physical, right? A little bit more hands-on, and could cause someone with a prosthetic limb to, need additional assistance medically, or it could cause someone to have to like strategize and recollect themselves, possibly at a hospital, to gain a prosthetic limb. Okay, but I don't wish that on anyone, and this reading is not to manifest that for anyone, nor is it to manifest any other negativity for anyone. It is only to offer awareness. Okay, so there's some kind of black energy that's here, right? So I'm sensing more so people are kind of narrow in their thinking. So even with this level up, they're following their intuition. That is their narrow thinking. They're not thinking about what society thinks or what anyone else around them thinks. It's really the internal compass, that internal voice that's kind of pushing them to manifest this level up. And I'm sensing this level up has everything to do with the romantic partnership. Okay, so they're strategizing on how to maybe remove an energy or a person, because we said like they're stuck like maple syrup. Maybe they're trying to remove an energy or person that seems like a prosthetic limb, right? So they're strategizing and recollecting themselves. So with this Cancer energy, it's over on top of the younger energy, the Giselle, Alicia, Belle, or Bella, and Khan. So what I'm gauging is like there's a motherly energy to these. Okay, so a parent-like energy that is over these. Okay, so when we're talking about refining how you express yourself, or how you move in the world so that other people can treat you how you feel like you should be treated, you need to be a little bit more, I wouldn't say aggressive, but be a little bit more authoritative with your parenting style, right? Don't be as calm, cool, and collected. Don't be as laid back. You kind of have to be a bit more aggressive. Don't give as many options. I know the world we live in today offers so many options, but when you go to a fast food place, you're getting what you think is chicken or beef. You're not really getting any other options, even though they give you 10 burger options and 10 different chicken sandwiches and chicken nuggets. It's still the same basis. You're either getting chicken or beef. Okay, so maybe narrow down your children's options in that way. So although there's 10 million different kind of cereals, you're either getting a sugar-based cereal or a fun-based cereal. So what does that mean? You're either getting a cereal that tastes good or a cereal box that you enjoy. You're not going to be out here getting all these different kind of creative things just because they all look different and stuff like that. You're letting them know how to actually have discernment, like how to view certain things. Yes, there's so many options, but this is how these options are limited, so that they can see they're still being limited. I heard the example of like political parties, and I normally don't like to talk about politics, but it's very real. There's an independent party where oftentimes the face of that party stands for goals that are closer to what we need in our everyday lives. However, they're overshadowed by the Democratic and Republican parties. Well, why are they overshadowed by those parties? Because those parties are all-encompassing, quote unquote, right? Those parties are tethered to people's favorite colors, right? Red and blue, they're the most like dominant colors when you talk about like the color wheel and stuff like that, or, red and blue. So we see all the propaganda around the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. But if those were the only two parties, people will boycott. It's not enough options. But having that independent party that is so easily overlooked because they don't have the establishment makes it, or makes us as a collective feel like we have more of a choice, right? So let me give another example that's kind of outside of politics. Let's say we're talking about heaven and hell, right? There's an either or. Well, that was too much for people. It's like either I be amazing and deal with paranoia and anxiety for the rest of my life, wanting to be a great person to go to heaven, or, you know, you just suffer and enjoy life as much as you can and then have an eternal hell. Like, those extremes were too much. So what happened? Now there's a purgatory, right? There's an area where, you know, maybe if people can't decide whether or not you're good or bad, you can stay there. It's a safety net. And because it's a safety net, people are more easily accepting of the harsh good and the harsh bad, right? So that's what I'm sensing here, right? You're offering too many options where the child can't see, you know, what is what, right? They just see it as like, it's like going on YouTube, right? There's 10 million videos. It's like, which one's the best for me? Who cares? There's 10 million videos to watch. As a parent, you're meant to give, well, this is better for you, or this is better for you. But realize, just like the rest of the world, a child can't accept that. Okay? They're not going to be able to. It's too extreme. So now you're called to not just be like, I'm going to be a good parent or I'm going to be a bad parent. It's more so like, well, I'm going to start off as a good parent. If that's not respected, I'm going to offer this gray area that's in between being what the world would deem as a good parent and maybe a little bit more a sketchy parent, you know, just to leave it nice. And what you're doing is you're warning the child that there are degrees, there are levels, there's worse after this. Oftentimes they're not going to enjoy that, and you'll be able to go back to that, you know, that good level. But maybe you'll have to go to the worser level, right? And have to be that authoritarian that maybe take away toys, or be that authoritarian that grounds someone, or that gives a little smack. Like, as a parent, because that's why we have this cancer over these energies, that's what you're called to do. To be the best version of a lifestyle, right? And I'm not going to say your lifestyle, but the best version of a lifestyle, and let them kind of move with it. You can't be too moved by how other people view your parenting style, right? I know me personally, my mom did not care. She did not care about anyone else looking at her, quote unquote, parent us. Okay, she was rearing our development. So if we were in a store crying, if we were in somewhere that was crying, we were quickly, and she did it in many ways, okay? So I'm gonna give her that. But we were quickly, what is the proper word? Convinced that it would be better for us to not act out than it would be for us to continue acting out, right? And most of the time it had nothing. She didn't spank us in public. She didn't physically abuse us in public. She didn't even verbally abuse us in public. Most of the time it was a look. It was a look. A look like, try that again, knowing that I raised you better. We don't do this at home. I don't know why you're doing it out here. And just having that, and I wouldn't even say control, it was having that level of communication, actually gave her compliments. There were people like in the grocery store like, your kids are so well behaved, not realizing we're like about to piss ourselves because we're afraid that if, you know, we continue to run through this store that we may not be able to run again. Like, it's stuff like that. But what did that teach us? Well, there was one time where we did run through the store and I fell and got one of those little hooks that are on like socks or whatever, that the socks are on, the displays, and it
got lodged in my back. Like, it was very painful, you know. I healed very quickly, very amazing, you know, process. I have to thank the divine for that. But like all because she said don't run in the store, and I decided to run in the store anyway. Right? Now, I could have just learned my lesson with the look, but realize if I never had the look, I would have blamed my mom for not keeping me safe in the store. But that look was indication, you know, past the whole, you know, sweetheart, don't do this, you know, we're not supposed to do this, da 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 da, there's a way that you're supposed to act in certain areas, da 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 da, that allowed me to understand it, that there's levels to everything. And not like there's 10 million levels to confuse me. No, there's 3 levels. There's the good, there's the gray, and then there's the bad, right? We can think that, I'm not going to put any other colors in there, but we say the good, the gray, and the bad. Okay? So, I'm not telling you how to parent, but like, again, if you're getting upset, right, and you're starting to sweat, you want to say something, you want to get something across, and you feel like it's going to hurt your child's feelings, or it's going to hurt someone around you's feelings, but it's like bubbling up in you, and you feel like if you don't let it out, you're going to like scream internally. Say it. That is your guiding light, letting you know that it is even though it may not be the nicest thing to say, there is a safe environment for you to let out this information, this angst, because the other energies that are around you, they need to hear it, right? The other energies around you need to absorb it in some way, maybe to facilitate their growth so that they learn their lesson, maybe to assist you so that, you know, you don't have to feel the way that you felt or whatever. Like, sometimes it's about other people consoling you, you know, letting you know that you're not alone, that you can voice things externally and receive positive feedback, even if it's not positive, okay, or seemingly positive to you. Because I'm telling you, me watching a parent let their child scream in public where I'm at without children is disrespectful to me. And I know personally, I'm not very quiet about it. I'm not. That bothers me, right? Because if I walked up to your child and I said something to your child like, hey, you know, don't scream, da 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 da, you're bothering everyone else, then you would have a problem with me as a parent, instead of me having a problem with you as a parent for not controlling your pet. I'm not saying it in a negative way, right? But you have full reign over, if your dog bit someone in public, you would be at fault. And it doesn't matter what you have to say. I can throw a stick at your dog and the court would still say that you're liable, right? But I can't throw a stick at your child for acting out in public, okay? So that is where you come in as a parent. If you see your child acting up, you resolve the situation. I don't mean give them whatever they want, you know, to stop them from crying. You're just raising spoiled kids then. What I'm saying is figure out a parenting style that would allow your child to see that there's a better option and there's a worse option. And right now they're in the middle ground, so they can choose. Sometimes when they feel like, oh, they're in the good and now they're in the bad, you know, that embarrassment, it stops them from learning. Or when they're in the bad and they're so focused on getting to the good, they don't learn the lesson. It hinders their growth. So give them that middle ground, like, I'm warning you. This can either go good or this can go bad. This is what you need to do for it to go good, but if you continue doing this, it's going to go bad. And if you offer the information in that way, then you're not technically liable for that child being upset with you after. Okay, they're going to be upset with you anyway. That's kind of the parent-child dynamic. But at least have them be upset with you where they'll be able to learn a lesson that is good, that's positive, even if it's not today. Okay? So, we see this fly buzz. Fly is usually energies around you kind of like gossiping about what you're doing, kind of offering their own opinion to what's going on without all the information. It usually ends up beneficial for you, so don't really worry about that too much. Like, again, It's people saying, oh, I can't believe she's, you know, speaking like that in public. I can't believe she's doing that in public. And then they see the outcome and they're like, okay, well, I see that it worked, and, you know, things are better for it, and da 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 da. Well, you know what? Maybe I learned something, and I'm going to congratulate this person for teaching me it. Okay? I've had, again, a lot of experiences where other parents came up to my mom and was like, oh my gosh, like, I saw, you know, how you handled that situation with your daughter or your daughters, and it's like, wow, how can I do that with my kids? And mom's just like looking at her like, it starts with an ass and ends with whooping, but you know, you got to be prepared for that. Anyway, so we have this jamais vu kind of energy, so that you feel a bit more comfortable. Just know that how your child or how the energies around you will react to you is going to seem new. It's not going to be like anything that you've experienced before, so don't take it negatively. All right? Leave room for grace. Leave room for people to come up with their own opinion about it based on receiving more information. And oftentimes that opinion would be positive, because they wouldn't be in frequency with you unless they were attracting the same thing that you're attracting. You're attracting a level up, and that comes from you being a little bit more authoritative, a little bit more aggressive with your personal power. Okay? How you navigate your essence in this world. Okay, so the people around you are either on that same path or need to learn from you. In either case, it's going to end up positive for you if you do what your intuition is telling you. Okay, it's going to feel new. It's going to be new. All right, let's see if there's anything else we need to know here for our Pisces. Oh, I thank you for your like, your shares, and subscribe. Okay. And we'll end on this note where we have this tick/leech energy in reverse. What it's telling us as a collective is that if you are able to refine this personal power and continue on with your guiding light into this level up, you're going to naturally shake off anything that is going to be like a vampire and suck the life out of you. Right? Energetically take from you. So maybe you feel like your children are constantly taking your positivity, constantly taking all the reserved energy that you would like to, you know, put into other hobbies and stuff, taking your patience, taking your mental clarity, right? Maybe taking your physical, right? After having a child, maybe you have to like build up the muscles again and stuff. Well, in you speaking up for yourself, establishing these boundaries and kind of pushing it in a way where other people can't like talk you out of it, you're naturally going to shake off the energy of people wanting to attack you in this way. So your children are going to know, oh, I can't mess with mom like this, so I'm going to stop because I realize it's not fruitful. I'm going to do what's fruitful. If that means, well, yelling at mom in the grocery store about something that I want isn't working, well, maybe if I push the cart, you know, she won't be upset if I put something extra in there. Okay, well, as a mom, you're seeing now that your child's pushing the cart in the store, and you're like, they never do this. They're pushing the cart, they're not talking back, they're kind of quiet, kind of observing, and you're trying to figure out what's going on, and you see something extra in the cart. Now, of course, you have to speak to them about it. Did you put this in the cart? Well, if you're going to take on this responsibility, you can't put things in the cart unless you tell me about it. Okay? Or you need to put it in a certain area so we can talk about what we can take or what we can't take. You don't necessarily like, no, don't do da-da-da-da-da. Why? Because now you're rewarding them for shifting their behavior in a better way. Would you prefer someone to hustle their way to the top, or, you know, earn an honest living? Well, either way, this child's going to get what they need. So you can reward them in energy by responding to the positive that they're doing with positivity, or you can keep saying, oh, I'm not going to say anything unless they do something negative. Because all that means is anytime they hear something in the future, they're going to think it's because they're doing something negative. Okay, so just because we're pushing this authoritative vibe doesn't mean that this is the vibe that you have. It means that you kind of have to, you know, flow. Okay? So you're rewarding the good and then speaking up about the bad. This way you offer your child and the energies around you, because you could be speaking to older people in the same way. You offer everyone, the energies around you, balance. This way they can come up with their own information. They can feel like they're a part of what's going on, right? So let's see, is there anything left for our Pisces? No? Okay, so I wish us all the best. I'll see you soon. Until the next.